So I remember coming out to my Filipino family and my tita texted me saying, "Oh, Luigi, thank God you came out. I already knew." And then I was like, then why the do I feel so unsafe in this family? It's the same reason that I left home and I never came back. And so to hear that they already knew, but to still feel years of self-hatred was a really invalidating experience. My name is Leo Albea.
It's Dr. Kevin Nadal.
It's Elena Hueze.
Drama del Rosario. And today we're talking about how the word Bakla has been used as an insult.
When I think about the word Bakla, I think about the ways that the word was used as a weapon, always used as a way to berate young people or people in general, I guess, who were queer.
But if you actually go back a little bit more with the history of the term, you can break it down into ba, ka, and la. Ba comes from babae, which means woman. La comes from lalaki, which is man. So if you look at Baybayin, the Philippine script or the pre-colonial script, you'll actually see that ka, which means like connection, actually looks like a bridge. And it says so much about our pre-colonial history in terms of celebrating queerness and gender fluidity and kind of the acceptance of more than just what we see as like heteronormative or straight.
The word bakla, I feel like it's geared more towards gay men. We also talked about how we thought tomboy was the lesbian version of it. I felt so shameful for like being that. Like I hated it. I hated the word. I hated when people called me that. I can't remember what age, but I had this tantrum where I was like, stop calling me tomboy. Fine, I will wear girly clothes. I'm gonna go to my closet, I'm gonna tear off all my boyish clothes so you can stop calling me a tomboy. Slowed down the process of me discovering who I was and what I was comfortable expressing myself with.
Many times growing up, I didn't think I would make it because there were so few people in my life who were queer, trans, or who were accepted or visible. That really negatively impacted not just my coming out process, but my mental health and my ability to want to live in this world. And so I hope what people realize is that words matter and that words can hurt people.
So for me, I never got to properly come out to my parents because I was outed by my teacher. And my parents would just like yell at me. Like they would bring me to their bedroom and they would just like yell at me, especially my dad. And he would say like, so you want me to be fine when you say you're bakla or something like that. So every time I hear the word bakla, I hear it in my dad's screaming voice. A lot of me growing up wanted to have vindication for being outed by someone else. And so I would hunt down all the other gay boys in my school and out them.
Oh,
and I would tell my younger self right now that was a horrible thing that you did.
So I came out when I was already 26 years old, which is a bit later in life. And I remember growing up into my high school years, into my college years, so much of how I navigated this world was under this kind of motivation that because I was bakla, that I would have to measure up to this high amount of success just to make up for the fact that I was gay.
You know, when I first came out, I came out as bisexual. And the sole reason looking back is because I'm like, it's okay because I still like boys. It's okay because I might still marry a guy in the future. So my fear was that I would end up with a woman and that marrying a woman, obviously it doesn't exist in the Philippines. So I was thinking far ahead in that like I would be disowned by my family in that sense.
Is my life gonna even like amount to anything like good? Like there's no roadmap for people like me when it comes to facing life.
And given that so many trans and queer people die by suicide, turn to substances, have depressive episodes, and so many other issues, it's important for us to be aware of the language that we use and be intentional about being inclusive and supportive and loving towards all LGBTQ people. Because when you're in the closet and you have not shared this very vulnerable part of yourself with anyone, and although I was fortunate that many people in my life loved me the same, if not harder than they did before I had come out to them, I know that's not the truth for everybody.
You have your own coming out process, which has its own struggles, but don't impose whatever else on other people who may be also struggling with their own coming out process.
You know, I grew up with 3 other siblings and I kept it from everyone. I was just going through my own thing and just question it. And it took so long because I didn't have a community around me. And, you know, when I did find the queer/lesbian community that I have today, and, you know, we go to all these queer events and queer bars and all these things that just blows my mind, just like my younger self would have been like, oh my God, you're doing that?
I remember for so many years, I hated this part about me, this part that was unchangeable. As much as I wish like I wasn't Bakla, as much as I wish I wasn't gay, because of all the negative things that were associated with it. If you don't see it, you don't understand how it fits into your life. And I'm hoping that as the world continues, we continue to fight not just for representation, but for actual rights and for the safety of people who are most at risk for being just who they are.
Even if people aren't as fully accepting of you, that there are so many other people who will be. And sometimes you might need to turn to chosen family, even if your family of origin isn't there for you.
When I finally did a whole buzz, that started shifting so much in me. Like, I felt reclaiming the tomboy that everyone was just hammering on me, like, you're a tomboy, you're a tomboy. Like, now I'm like, yes, that's what I want to be. So now I don't hate that word so much anymore, because now I allowed myself to be that. And that's what I would say to my younger self, allow yourself.
I think pride is very important for the very real reality that people are still being killed for being queer. There are people who will tell us, oh, well, society has started accepting gay people, so you can start toning down.
Right.
That's a very privileged way to look at the world.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that there are places that we are in right now where people are very accepting. But there are places where killings are happening and people are not protected by law.
Yeah. I feel like I never really grasped the concept of June as Pride Month. It's why do we claim a month? We're gay all the time.
Wait, you're gay all the time? I'm only gay once a year.
Just June?
Just June.
But see, yeah, why do we have to narrow it down to just 1 month? But the reason is for everyone else who isn't gay. It's our month to shine and show ourselves and be so expressive. And we can do that. The month allows us to do it more than ever. And that's, I think, is so beautiful and great.
And the more permission we have to celebrate it,
yeah.
it just makes things more fun and much more easier for so many people.
Yeah.
That's the important part in terms of reclaiming Bakla. We were taught that this is a bad thing. This was a learned behavior that we now see in so many parts of our culture. Reclaiming Bakla, the first superficial part is seeing stories that represent us. It's seeing that we exist, but it's also understanding that there are places in this world where Filipinos exist and it is illegal. And so recognizing that and how we reclaim back this identity that is very Filipino in some senses is important.
I do hope that people will accept you, people will love you. I hope that previous generations, including my own, have made it a little easier for younger people to come out, that there is possibility in this world, that you can be out and happy and joyous and find love and friendship, be successful and live in your truest and most authentic self. And that's what I hope all young people and people in general can experience.